welcome everybody. It's the Monkey Barrel Comedy Chat Show. It's a brand new show that we're bringing to Monkey Barrel Comedy, where we talk to some of the wonderful comedians from the comedy circuit that come and visit Monkey Barrel Comedy to perform here. And today we have a wonderful guest. It's the wonderful Robin Morgan.
Hello. Hi.
Good. I like that energy.
Thank you.
That's the correct energy for this tiny
nice
little
and
room.
chilled. Why not?
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thanks for being here. So, how would you describe yourself, your shows to the folks at home if they haven't seen you?
I'm just a normal guy. I'm just an innocent man.
Oh,
That's
no.
all I am.
I've heard this before. There's a lot of people who are not innocent.
It's very true.
Describe themselves as a silly goose. That's another one.
Sure. I'm a plain Jane. That's what I am. I'm a happy-go-lucky chap from Wales. I've been doing comedy for 14 years. I love Edinburgh. It's nice to come here outside of the festival. That's my vibes.
Good. That's
Yeah.
good vibes. That's good vibes for a comedian to be like, I've been performing comedy for 14 years.
Yeah.
If you were just like, I just walked in off the street.
Yeah,
and you
absolutely.
sat me
Your
down.
security is bad here.
So, to start off the show, we like to get people a little bit relaxed by attacking them with a piece of personal information from their
Yeah.
past. So, we have a picture
Oh, God.
from your Instagram that you don't know about, and we're going to post it up on the screen now. We're going to
Yeah.
ask you about it. So,
cool.
You're going to have all the horror there, but no, it's fine.
Hey.
Look, there it is.
Yeah, great.
So, this is a picture from 2018, but it is a picture of you on the TV show Eggheads from 2010.
Yeah, correct. I was on Eggheads filmed in Glasgow. I think we filmed it in January 2010, so around 14 years ago.
Wow.
And
So this was pre-comedy.
this is pre-comedy. I was still at university. This was maybe like 6 months before I did my first gig.
Wow.
I'm in the middle there.
Yeah.
These people did. We were all members of the student newspaper at Cardiff University called Guy Reeve.
That seems very appropriate for
Yeah,
Eggheads.
I think so.
It's a good vibe.
And then Tom was our backup, but then they said he didn't. I think he didn't have a bright. But in telly, they like to make you wear bright things that will go against the boring backdrops. Tom didn't have the correct clothes, so they were like, "No, you're not doing it," and he had to They really pied him off.
That's really hurtful to turn up for Eggheads and it's like your intelligence is great, but your style.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh. We
I
can't
know.
put you on daytime TV. You're going to depress everyone.
Totally. We did okay. You find out the prize fund at the start, and I think it rolls over if the previous weeks didn't win. Then it goes up by $1,000.
Oh.
So you don't know how much you're going up for. It was 23 grand was our prize, which obviously that we were in our last year of uni.
Yeah, incredible.
Then everybody lost their rounds, so it was just me at the end in a sort of against all 5 of the Eggheads because they didn't lose. And I took it to sudden death. We both got 2 questions right and 1 question wrong. And then I lost at the very end. I was up against a man called CJ Demui, who has had headlines since about potentially, he wrote in his autobiography that he killed a man. And it...
I was worried this is where it was going to go.
Oh, yeah.
But
So let's pivot at that. In my first year doing the Fringe, he was also performing in the Fringe, and he did a book signing with this infamous tale in it.
Yeah.
In the bookshop across the road on West Nicholson Street. He came to see my show because I talked about being in Eggheads, and then we went out for a drink afterwards. We played chess, and he beat me in 8 moves. He's a clever man.
You're also... bad choices there to go for drinks with this guy.
Hey, I live on the edge. When you sort of like see in a Netflix documentary, like, why would they go back to the guy's house there? It's just for stories.
It cuts to you and you're like, I went back to the house.
Yeah, totally. 8 moves, dismembered me,
I like the idea that as he was signing books, he was writing about other murders he'd committed that aren't in the books. Like, there's a secret for you.
I'm absolutely obsessed with him. I didn't really talk about him in the show. I talked about another man called Chris Hughes, who was sort of like the quite sort of like big guy with nice lamb chops.
I think I remember seeing him.
And he had in the makeup room, we found loads of CDs that he'd made, like a cover out, loads of cover songs, and he'd signed them and given them to like the crew as like a present type thing. And it was all quite sort of like 60s, 70s kind of folksy songs, apart from one of them, which was Because I Got High by Afro Man. He covered that. And I'd only ever heard the radio edit of that. And apparently there's like a more extreme version. And he says the phrase, and I apologize for this, I was going to eat your pussy out too, but then I got high. And I listen to that about once a day.
Wow.
I think I'm the only person in the world who has it on CD. I nicked it from the place.
Wow. It's amazing that he heard it. It's amazing that he decided to re-record it.
Yeah.
It's amazing that he put that line in, and even more amazing that he gifted it to everyone
yeah.
on the set. That's incredible.
It's
And this is the Eggheads. This is the
he
genius
is one of the
move.
smartest men in the world.
Wow. Well, maybe you don't realize. Maybe he's doing something in 8 moves, and you're only on move 4.
Yeah,
He's putting
he's
it
doing
together.
real 5D chess right now, isn't he?
That's amazing. Wow. So when you watched the show the following week, obviously the money that you didn't win rolled over. Did you feel like that's our money?
I hadn't watched the show before, and I haven't watched it since. I would quite like to. I think it's still on. I think it might have gone Channel 5 now. I'd like to go on it again as like a celebrity version.
I mean, it's very funny. Eggheads got, I think, put on Irish TV at one point, and it became like a meme among my friends where we'd send the advert for it because the advert was so confusing. It's not that confusing of a concept, but the advert was like, imagine 5 people who are smart and then another person who's also smart, and they go against each other, but those people have a choice to not win. And I was like, you've lost everyone. You've lost everyone in the room. It was so confusing.
That's really funny.
And I think it lasted for like maybe 5 episodes, and they went,
way.
nobody's watching.
Who was hosting it? Who did they get to host?
I think there's such a plethora of like weird Irish celebrities who they're not celebrities. They like go to like being a weatherman, and then people become so comfortable with them that they can just do anything else.
This
and
happens in
nobody
Wales a
questions
lot
them.
as well.
Yeah?
I think it's that familiarity. We have a famous weatherman called Derek Brockway, and he's just Derek the Weather.
Yeah.
And he presents shows on walking, and he's a real big sort of. He's a housewife's favorite.
Yeah. There's very much that. There's like these guys that you think they're not famous, and then they do like an opening at a garden center.
Sure,
And for miles around, the traffic is blocked and nobody can get through because everyone's there.
Absolutely. I think they could do, they'll do Christmas lights. They'll do like a Q&A at regional theatre, and it will just be...
The only time because every time I've gone to see lights getting turned on, it's been a disappointing celebrity. The only time I didn't go, it was Michael Bublé. Which is like the perfect person, Michael Bublé.
Yeah, I imagine. I don't think I've ever been either. Again, I'd like to get asked to do it one day, but I think I need to be in a very, very small area. I think I need to move to a hamlet.
Maybe if you start killing people and writing books about it.
Mate, I was an innocent man at the start of this podcast. Not anymore. Not anymore.
Fantastic. Okay. All right. That's that. We've also, tying in with Instagram, we've got some questions that people have sent in from Instagram. And one of the questions was, how do you keep busy on tour? So as a comedian, you're obviously touring around, you're on trains, you're on buses. Sometimes we're in hotel rooms by ourselves. Keeping it X-rated.
Yeah.
What kind of things do you do to keep yourself busy?
So I rarely stay over. I'll always tend to drive back from gigs that night. It's rare that I spend, like I am now, a weekend away.
Yeah.
And so usually I'd say I'd rewatch the OC in my bed constantly. Today though, I went to see a psychic this morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is I've never seen one before.
This is like the pilot first episode. I didn't realize we were going to get such juicy, great stuff.
Yeah.
We've already had a man who did a killing in a book, and now we're going to find out about psychics. I'm so excited. All right.
I don't really. It's part of I think what will become a new tour show, and I'm trying to do things that I don't necessarily believe in, and I'm trying to sort of like bridge the gap between me and try new things.
Have an open mind for that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so. Like I don't really believe in horoscopes at all, and I thought I'd go and spend some time in this beautiful city having a tarot reading.
It's a good city to get a tarot read done as well.
There seemed to be quite a lot of choice when I was looking online. Why do you think is it like obviously quite gothic?
Gothic architecture, the kind of magical vibes that people associate with the city for different book series and things. But yeah, I don't know. If you said you got a palm reading in Edinburgh, that seems kind of, interesting.
Okay.
I think if you said you got a palm reading in Leeds, I think it will be less exciting.
Seems like a threat.
It does. It does. Somebody came up to me and grabbed my hand and said 7 days and then walked away.
And then demanded £20 payment. It was bizarre. Yeah, but have you ever had one done, a tarot reading or anything?
I know before I was born, my mother had a tarot reading done, and they said you'll marry a man with the first letter G in his name, and that my dad's name was George as well. But I feel like that was... she met him and went, well, this must be the guy.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? I think that's what, because she was very lovely, the person doing it, and 15, 20 minutes. And some of the things I could be like, oh, that makes sense. And other ones I was like, oh, you're way off. You are way off here. I think it's all into interpretation. That's quite bold though, to go like 1 in It's 1 in 26 chance.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there aren't many kind of like Z names and
Yeah.
X names.
Well,
but
this person also made a claim that one day her son would grow up to be a preacher, and I don't like that idea.
sure. I mean, this is kind
My
of
mother
that.
goes, "This is kind of
Yeah,
that."
yeah.
I mean, if you were doing it as a podcast at a small table showing Instagram posts, maybe you'd be a
Yeah,
preacher.
yeah.
And now, finally, mother, I've done it.
Finally, Mother, I've Done It is the title of a Netflix true crime show.
100%. And it doesn't even show me in the trailer. It only
Yeah.
cuts to me at the very end. I'm just sitting silently, and then the music rises and it cuts to black.
Yeah,
That's how
nice.
you make a
Turning
creepy
a card
Netflix.
over. Oh my god, beautiful.
Oh, throughout the trailer, there's just cards being turned
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
They're all death, though. Why? That's a weird set of
Creepy
cards.
guy.
Amazing. So, did you find anything that you'd like to share that was kind of?
I found it very. She said that she thought I was. She thought I worked in banking, and I hated that.
Yeah,
I
of
thought
course.
that was a sick burn off the top. And then she said I was creative, and then I was like, okay, it's nice. And then she said I'm going to have a very successful year, and then she clarified, but not financially. I was like, okay, oh boy.
Did you try to run as she said it? You'll have a successful year, and you try to run out.
Yeah, thanks so much. All the best.
Not financially.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
great.
yeah,
Great.
I heard. I found it very interesting. I didn't know because she had a big pack of cards, and then she was shuffling them, and some fell on the table.
Oh, wow.
And that's apparently how they get drawn.
Really?
And the ones that, and then she turns them over, and the ones that face me are that she'll do a positive reading of that. So if it was one was Wheel of Fortune, which I thought was very funny, having been on Eggheads, and another one was all the ones that faced her were sort of negative characteristics and like bad things that might happen. But I thought that she was just a really bad dealer
Yeah.
because it was just going everywhere.
The cards were like the chase is there. This is other game
exactly.
shows that you could be
You'll
on.
Gladiators. That's weird.
Are you sure? Have you confirmed that that's how they pick the cards? Are you sure she wasn't just really embarrassed and just went?
I mean, she
"Oh,
styled it out.
that's how we picked them.
She styled it out. She had such confidence that
Good.
you would if the universe is on your side.
I mean, I think you have to have the confidence if you're going to be doing that with the cards. You have to be like, yeah, this is totally normal.
Big time.
Look, sometimes the rules for poker just get into the mix.
Sure.
That's what you've got.
Yeah,
There you go.
absolutely.
Fantastic. Another question we have is, what's the scariest thing you've ever done?
Oh, I was less that I've done, but more that happened to me. I was on a plane that caught fire.
Oh, really?
About 6 months after the Eggheads experience. No, it's 6 months before. I went interrailing.
Okay, now are you? Did you look at the back of the plane? When the other Egghead guys were there. This could be
Yeah.
a part of this.
Chris Hughes really singing horrible
Yeah.
songs to me. I went interrailing in between second and third year, and then was flying back from Paris to Cardiff, and it was a flyby plane that had little propeller.
Yeah,
wing
I've been on
things.
those. I've had the fear of those. As
Oh
well.
yeah. You will after this as well.
yeah.
And there was also my friend Louise, and she started to see smoke, and there was smoke rising through
The inside the cabin.
fuselage, I think it's
wow.
called.
Yeah.
In the cabin. And they sent a little poor steward up and down who was like looking for fire, but he kept on sort of looking in the overhead bins, and I was like, it's not going to be in there. No one's going to checked in fire.
I know
What are you
smoke
doing?
rises, but come
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
not.
And then we did an emergency landing at Gatwick Airport because they just basically sort of went down, and we basically like landed, and they were like, get off the plane, and they didn't even put the big fancy slide down, which I was
Wow.
really annoyed about. It was like
I bet they were very
stairs.
calm right until the landing.
Yeah.
They're like, it's fine. Get out.
Well, that's the thing. Now, what I always do is I look at any sort of. It's maybe a bit of a nervous flyer now, but any sort of turbulence, I always just look at the stewards, and if they're just like nattering
Yeah.
and gossiping, then
That's
I think
the
we're gonna be
exact same
fine.
thing I do.
Yeah.
But then you never know. They have those cold eyes of steel that they'll
Sociopaths.
never let it show.
Yeah, totally. That's what they train you.
Also, it makes them looking in the bins above suggests at some point in the past they have opened the bin. There's just been a little man in there just having a smoke, just curled up, just like, come on, this is fine.
He misses the old days of like madmen smoking on
Yeah,
planes.
yeah.
He's been out there since the 60s.
There's no sticker in here,
Yeah.
so technically I'm
Yeah.
okay. That's amazing. Yeah, the terror of that, because there was a plane that just caught fire, I think yesterday in the Bahamas, and people filmed it from the ground because it was nighttime, and you could see the plane flying and literally sparks coming out of the back, but it was able to do a turn and then land safely with everyone. And the reaction from the airport was like, "Oh, well, planes can go on fire. Don't say that. Don't say that. I don't like
We
that."
plan for this. It happens a lot. It happens more than you think it does.
It happens all the time during the day. It was only because it was at night that you guys.
But it
did
looked beautiful.
Wow. So did you get moved very quickly to another flight? Or?
No, we had to go to Gatwick. They gave us a £5 lunch voucher that was only valid, I think, in WH Smith.
Wow.
So not even like a meal deal. And then they offered us as compensation 20% off my next Flybe flight. And I was like, mother, I am not going back on that plane.
Of course. Oh, the same plane and all. We want you to come back
We
and have a
hosed
great
it down.
time.
Yeah. We put some
my
sprinklers
God.
in there. No, crazy.
That's probably your closest near-death experience.
I think so. And no death things came up in the reading today, so I'm fine.
Oh,
I'm
well.
fine for a good 24. It's going to be a good year.
It would have
2024
been
is gonna be a good-
incredible if she'd flipped over a card and it was the voucher for
Oh my
WH Smith.
god, I love that. I really am obsessed with magic. I really like the idea that it's true, and obviously it isn't. My friend's brother does close-up magic in a kind of quite sort of like schmoozy way.
Yeah.
But I think Darren Brown stuff, I love that.
Yeah. Well,
love
the
all
thing
that.
with Darren Brown's very nice is Darren Brown's whole thing is I'm letting you in on this, or
Sure,
I'm
sure.
at least admitting to you that I amn't
Yeah.
a messiah. I'm having fun.
He's such a humble guy to say I'm not the Messiah.
If he wanted to start a cult, even with the information I have now, I think I'd still join.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's so true, actually. He could be really tapping into the culture wars quite now, right now on YouTube.
Because he only has to get the initial people that know that he isn't magic to just get on board just for him. He's got enough of a personality for that. And then everyone that comes in afterwards, he can just catch a bullet in his teeth.
Just
and you
pyramid
go,
scheme stuff, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Hey, you
Let's
know what?
start a cult.
Let's just change the podcast
You know.
to a pyramid scheme. I think that's probably the best idea. Just
I don't think there
everyone-
is one at the moment.
No,
This is
no.
a nice demographic.
I think that's the way to go is just
Yeah.
get pyramid schemes and podcasts. And also if we can get that lady in on this to do tarot readings
do it.
before, I think that's going to work well for us. Okay, so there's some good questions there. I have some questions as well that I was going to ask about this. So, a thing with comedians is pun titles for shows.
Yeah.
People love getting their last name, making it into a pun title. Have you had a pun one before, or is there one that you've thought of, but you've never committed to?
My first time up at the Fringe, I did like a half an hour show on my own, and I called it Guten Morgen. My
Nice.
surname's Morgan.
I like it.
The next year, for my first hour, I called it Freeman. So people would read Robin Morgan Freeman, Morgan Freeman. And no one ever understood it. And I opened with it and I'm still annoyed that I called it that.
Did you ever get the person in the front row going, oh, like that?
But it's sort of like, but why would you think that was a good idea for a show? And then I haven't done one since. I don't think I will again. I quite enjoyed, in 2019, I had a really long title, which was What a Man, What a Man, What a Man, What a Mighty Good Man, brackets, say it again now, close brackets.
Yes.
And then I found out that the Fringe brochure, your word count also includes the title.
Yes.
So I ruined it, and it just had to be like comedy in the in the blurb question mark. I don't know.
Comedy question mark would get me to see a show 100%. Anyone watching this trying to figure out their blurb, if you just write comedy question mark, I'm there. I'm there. I'm sorry if I've just given that away for you.
Not
now.
at all. Not at all.
That is a nightmare. That in the brochure that your title does count towards that word count, because I have seen it numerous times with shows where I'm like, what are you going to say at the end? And I have seen a few times where there's no question mark. It's just the word theater.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, this is theater right here. That's amazing. Yeah. People have asked me before to do the because my name's George Fox, do the what does the fox say?
Yeah.
And I've resisted it. I feel like
I think until that
Never
song
break me
gets
down.
sort of like, it comes around again through TikTok or something.
When it becomes like Toto's Africa and it becomes a song or Mr. Brightside, where people are like, it was fine, and then it comes back and people are like, this is my identity. That's when I jump on board.
When was that? Was that like 2017?
I feel like 2016, 2017. Yeah, I feel like that was the age of it. But also, I was also thinking, how many people back then were really aware of YouTube stuff that was going that popular?
Yeah.
We have another question. I will ask you right now. Oh, we do. I was going to say we have something in common because your partner is a teacher.
Well, used to be. She quit a year ago.
That's amazing. She
got out.
congratulations on that, because that is the truth with teachers. You're like, well, you got out. Good job.
Oh yeah, totally. But yeah, she was a teacher for God, 13 years, 14 years.
Wow. My partner is also a teacher, and she's. I have seen you talk about on stage before that thing of coming home, and as a comedian, when you come home and your partner is a teacher, they're obviously going to bed much earlier than you, and you would come home and you would choose to do the thing of not trying to wake her up at all, whereas my partner wants to be woken up.
Interesting.
Very interesting. She's like, I don't care what time you get home, just come in and be like, hey, just letting you know I'm back home.
Yeah.
And I think in her mind, she wakes up like, oh, thanks, and then goes back to sleep. But I've stopped doing it now because the reaction is I come in and I go, hey. And she immediately goes, are they in the house? And who is they? Who is they?
Yeah.
She always says they. Are they in the house? I don't know who that's referencing. She goes, oh, what? What is it? What is it? And then I'll just go, it's me. And then she'll be so panicked, and then she'll fall back asleep and then not even remember that the next day. So I've cut it out completely.
I would have.
It's
cut that
too
out as
much.
Well. Totally.
Especially because she's the stress of a teacher. I'm sure she's like, are they in? It's probably, have the kids come in from class?
I think it's Ofsted.
Yeah, she's flashed back to school, yeah.
That's terrifying. You should find out who they are. I'd find that very interesting.
I have asked late night, I'm like, who's they? And she'll just go, yeah, sleep, and then immediately gone. There's no consciousness there.
Do you do those? Have you ever done those like sleep recorder things where you can hear what you say in the night?
I'm terrified to do that.
Interesting.
I'm very terrified to do that. What happens if I'm like that guy from Eggheads and I just start admitting to murders that I don't know I've done or not?
I'm a bit afraid about it as well, but I think I might do it. I think it'd be quite interesting to see what's going on.
It could be. Imagine if you just did an amazing 10 minutes of material.
Oh my gosh, I'd love that. I would just play. I wouldn't even turn up to gigs. I would just play out through the system. Just get like one of those inflatable people outside garages and just play the gags out.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
That's the best way. That's the
Comedy
best way.
question mark?
I'm good. If you've got anything from this podcast, you've got a new way to write material.
Yeah,
fantastic. We also have questions from somebody that was sent in. Sorry, Ewan is also here as well.
Hello, guys.
Hey.
And for you at home, just knowing there's someone else in the room as well.
Not just you two.
It's not just us two.
So we've got a chaperone to make sure that everything's okay.
Oh, I'll just listen. If you weren't here, I would have been talking about tarot cards for 45 minutes. I got so excited about it. But thankfully, we've got another comedian, the wonderful Amy Matthews, to send in some questions for you. Send in 3 questions. So we've got the video here.
Oh, cool.
We're going to bring that up right now. Let's take a look.
Hello, Robin. My 3 questions for you are, number 1, when was the last time you saw a frog? / have you seen a frog? Because this has been taking up a lot of headspace recently. There are millions of frogs in the UK. Millions. Where are they? So if you could shed some light on that. And sort of a part 2, how was it? The experience and the frog. Question number 2, what broke up your metal band when you were a teenager? I'd love to know what the sort of breaking point was for you guys. And the part 2 to that question is, how furious were you when Ed Gamble made a brand out of being surprisingly into metal music as a very clean-cut, presenting, sweet little boy? How cross were you that he got there first? Think about it. You could have had a Spotify podcast. Oh, what could have been? Finally, question number 3. If you had to drive around for a year with a bumper sticker on your car, what's the bumper sticker saying? And it has to be like visible, like it has to pack a punch. What are we putting on your bumper sticker? All the best.
All right. Well, first of all, there was like 5 questions there.
I'm
there
glad.
was sub questions.
I was going to say that if you hadn't said that.
that was way more than 3.
That was very Students' Union. Actually, it's more of a comment than a question. Is one of those ones. Big fan of them, though. Big fan.
I very much feel like Amy was looking at the window and saw a frog jump by.
Yeah.
And went,
Great lighting in that clip as well.
Amazing lighting.
Great lighting.
Better lighting than here.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Crazy.
All right, we need to catch up. You've done everything you can to destroy the professionalism of this podcast. podcast, Amy. Okay. So the first question was, yes, when was the last time you saw a frog?
I don't think I have. I must have as a kid, right? That's the kind of thing where you
Oh,
go
wow.
around.
Are we going into the realm of you've never seen a frog?
I've seen tadpoles. That's kind of like the prequel to it. Yeah. I've definitely seen tadpoles. I must have seen a frog at some point, but I couldn't tell you when, and I wouldn't want to go on record with a lie.
Well, as you know, there's many podcasts out there where people talk about their experiences with frogs.
Yeah.
You don't want to be called out as a fraud.
Absolutely.
The amount of frauds out there, it's a nightmare. I think I've seen a frog, I think once.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that rare until right now.
I can understand why that's upsetting her, the idea of millions just sort of roaming around
Just
secretly.
avoiding us.
But where do they live? Where do they
I imagine ditches, ponds, that kind of thing.
And I'm happy for this to go on the record. I don't spend much time in ponds. I'm
All right.
rarely by a pond.
This isn't a boast podcast.
Yeah. I'm doing all right. 2024 is not going to be a good financial year, but it's not pond level of fame.
Little did you know, one of the cards fell off the table. It was the pond
I
card.
love the pond
Here
card.
we go.
They must live around ponds and wetlands, and I don't do that very often.
I think everyone does their best to avoid marshes.
Yeah.
No one hangs out in a marsh.
But tadpoles do exist within family ponds.
Yeah.
Right?
It's weird that we've both seen. I've seen tadpoles lots of times.
Yeah.
But getting to the frog level, I don't stick around or they don't stick around.
Yeah. Commitment issues.
Yeah. Okay. So, I guess you've never seen a frog. You can't base that. The time I saw a frog, it was fine. So there we go. I've answered that question.
How old were you?
I think I was like maybe 9 or 10.
Okay.
Because it was still like a
Yeah.
You know, when you're a kid and you see a living thing and you kind of go, like the first time you see a hedgehog.
Yeah.
And you've only seen it in cartoons and you see it in real life and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, totally. I think I don't like how frogs. I think I'd be freaked out by a frog, like it moving and stuff. I don't think I'd enjoy that.
There's the inherent fear of, are you going to jump right at me?
Yeah.
Because they always look like they're posed, ready for the jump.
Totally, they're built like that, aren't
Yeah.
they? They're highly sprung.
Their whole thing is jump scares.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
all the frogs have.
That's where they've gone. They've gone to do prank channels on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Social experiments is what they're called.
Sorry.
I think you'll find.
So it's very reductive of me to call it pranking.
Okay, and the second question was
Ed Gamble.
Ed Gamble, yeah. Do you
I've
feel
not known.
Not angry at all.
no?
No.
Do you feel like the wave's been paid for you, or just feel like your voice has been given credence a little bit?
No, it's fine. I don't really. So the first question in that
What
was
broke up your metal
what broke
band?
up
Oh
the
yeah,
metal
what broke up
band?
your metal band?
Apologies,
yes.
Amy.
Oh God,
Apologies,
everyone else
everybody.
is hosting the podcast better than I am.
I was in a death metal band called Black Despondency when I was 15. I played bass and did backing screamo vocals. It was with two of my friends. We hired a drummer from the year above us, and then we found a singer who was 4 years older than us from MySpace, and he lived in Stourbridge. Bit weird.
Oh, yeah.
And then we played maybe like 3 or 4 gigs. At that point I didn't really like metal music. I was kind of like, I preferred indie. So I'd leave the band practice. I had 2 MP3 players, those little kind of like USB stick ones.
I mean, I want to make fun of the glory there too, but I also understand this because I remember back then you would get an MP3 player and it was so small.
512 megabytes.
Yeah, it would have like 7 songs.
Yeah,
You'd be like,
yeah.
well, that's it.
So I'd have the songs that we'd be practicing, and then I would swap out the memory stick bit
For the other one.
and then listen to like Killers on the way home, the Shins,
Yeah,
things
yeah,
like that. So I think I quit, but it got to we were in various people joined the band at certain points. My friend Steve, his girlfriend Jess was the drummer. She didn't like heavy metal music, so Steve wanted her out. But he got me to fire her from the band, and she didn't speak to me for 3 years. We're very good friends now.
Yeah.
But I think that shows the kind of little
That could be
soy
one of
boy.
those bonding moments. Though,
Yeah.
That the two of you just looking back going, that was insane.
Yeah. I had to
Brings
and
people together.
They stayed together as a couple for like 2 years more.
Oh, wow.
But she did not enjoy my company for a while, which is fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, you were made to do an awful thing.
Yeah, exactly. I was.
But if you only knew back then that you could have used tarot cards as a
Mate,
weird
the
excuse.
The people pleaser card came up
Yes,
today.
Of course.
Of course it did.
But if it was just like, maybe metal isn't for you card would have been a nice one to just slide
exactly.
across. And again, it's so great to be able to say, well, it's not, it's fate, it's not me.
Yeah,
We all saw me drop the cards.
Yeah, the universe does not want me to be headbanging.
I think you're great, but these cards, these cards are real
The
jerks.
fucking universe. So and in terms of Lovely Ed Gamble, yeah, I don't mind that he does that. I've seen the material. It's very, very funny. He's very handsome. I think he if he wasn't doing that, he'd.
I think it only benefits you having somebody that looks like that saying good things about that type of music.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wonder how other heavy metal fans feel about him. Has he talked about that?
I don't think so. I mean, it'd be interesting to find out. I mean, I would like to think they're just like, it's great. Let everybody in, welcome in everyone.
Yeah.
Show the different.
Live and let live.
Yeah.
I used to be terrified of the mosh pit.
Oh, of course.
So terrified. I just thought my glasses would break. Like a real kind of like Harry Potter sort of like having to tape them up and going to school next day. Jeez.
Oh, of course. And I have the look of like someone that loves the mosh pit,
Sure.
or is a roadie, like one or the other. But always people would push me towards the front, and I was just like, God, it's especially when you see clips of it online where people just certain people are there and they're getting into the music and it's just they're having a good time, and then some people are there and it's like they're doing their version of that movie Breakdown or Broken Down, the one where the guy goes crazy in LA, like they just get crazy and then you just see it explode. This energy,
real divorced energy in that room, isn't there?
It's like there's no rules in the mosh pit. There's still rules. It's not a different universe. It's like a pocket universe where nothing counts.
This isn't diplomatic immunity here. The rules of law still apply here.
Oh, it happened. The police just be like, it happened in a mosh pit. Wow.
Who was on Slayer? Carry on.
Go right
Carry
ahead.
on.
Very good. I think what was the third question?
If you had to drive around for a year with a bumper sticker,
oh yeah,
what does it say?
That's a very good question.
That is good. What's weird is that's the most frivolous of the questions, but it's the most intriguing to me.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had a bumper sticker. I got sent one when I joined a Welsh independence group a few years ago, which is called Yes Cymru, and they send you bumper stickers, and I was too afraid to put it on my car. People pleaser.
Yeah, I get that though.
But I don't know. I think it would probably be. What are the normal ones? Sort of like honk if you're horny and stuff.
I haven't ever seen a honk if you're horny in the wild.
Really?
I've only seen it in like The Simpsons and stuff. I've never seen.
Sure.
Because I mean, it would be a nightmare. It feels like it falls into the same place. Because especially if people are beeping on the horn.
Yeah,
it's distracting for other people who haven't seen the bumper sticker. It's distracting for you because then you're like, oh great, now I know this horny guy is behind me.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta make these turns quick.
It would worry me if I think I had that on my car, because I think, am I a bad driver? Or it's quite arrogant to assume that somebody is horny and they're willing to tell you and they want to portray those feelings towards you as well, I imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I'd like that. Honk if you're hangry, maybe. I'm
honk
not sure.
if you're hangry is good, but then again, it would be like an ambulance call to me. If somebody honked because they're hungry, I would pull over. I'd let them go by.
Sure.
Like, you gotta get somewhere. If you're hungry,
get
a sandwich.
Exactly.
Drive next to me. I've got yogurt here. I'm gonna throw it into your window as you go by.
Like the movie Speed, but instead of getting the passengers out, you're just feeding people dairy.
If I go over 50 minutes without food, I get furious.
People die. I don't think I've ever had a bumper sticker. I don't think I ever would, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a thing that's gone now. The closest you see is people putting baby on board.
Sure, there's lots of different ones of those that I don't really enjoy. Yeah. Like there's like little like my godson's on board. Like, how often do you drive your godson around? It feels like you're just showing off the,
you're making a challenge now.
Yeah.
You're like, pull over. Is he in there? Let me see him.
Yeah.
Cool godson.
Show me the child.
Or maybe just commit to it and just say, please don't kill my family. Just have that hanging in the back of the car.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be like, all right.
There's a great Simpsons joke, which is Marge gets like a baby on board sign, and then, oh look, Homer, I've got this. Now people will stop intentionally ramming our car. Love that. There was one that was a little while ago, and it had kind of cutesy writing. It was white with like black writing on it, and it looked a little bit like the ISIS flag, and I really enjoyed that for a while.
Oh, good.
That was good. Maybe it was
something challenging that can panic people a little bit.
You're not going to honk them. I'm not going to honk those guys.
No. All right. Well,
Lord forbid.
We've gone through a nice mix of different things to speak about. I feel like we've learned a lot about you. I'm sure, obviously, you also have shows coming up. You're going to be touring your show at the moment.
Yeah.
Also, you have your show on BBC Wales as well, Radio Wales.
Yeah.
Please tell people about it.
So, the show on Radio Wales is called What Just Happened. It is a topical comedy panel show like Off of the Past that the BBC have commissioned, which is very nice. And it's me hosting. Kiri Pritchard McLean is like a regular sort of team captain, sort of Alan Davis sort of person. And then we get journalists on, we get Welsh comics on, we sometimes get non-Welsh comics on for balance. And then we talk about the Welsh news, and that's really fun. The tour show that I'm currently doing is called Snip Snip Bitch, and it's got 3 more dates. And then a new show is being written and will go on sale soon. I'm going to do the Fringe.
And we might have got a little bit of a snippet of that today if you talk about the old tarot cards.
Yeah, well, I think
you know,
totally.
it
Yeah,
turns
I
up.
think it'll turn into something because it is fun.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
might keep doing it.
Any big gigs you want to plug at all in the next while?
Oh God, no,
No? Good.
no, I'm fine.
All right.
Come and find me on
Just
the internet.
Exactly. Make a challenge of it, I say.
Yeah.
You can't guess what car you're in by bumper stickers.
Totally.
So you shouldn't be able to find where your gigs
And
are
I
without
should
putting
start-
the effort in.
I should start putting fake gig dates on my website, and then the true fans will find out, and it'll all be like an acrostic of the actual one. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like Da Vinci Code stuff. I've got stuff to do this afternoon now.
Perfect. Maybe you can wire in the lady doing the tarot and just give her like cards with dates and venues.
That'd be fun.
And just like you choose. You choose where the show goes.
Yeah.
We've left it up to the fate. Much as we left it up to the fate today to see how this would be, it's been absolutely bloody delightful.
It's been a dream. Thank
Yeah,
you for
absolutely.
having
Well,
me.
thank you for coming in.
It was silly.
Thanks for wonderful tech. Thank you, Ewan. And that's our show for this week. This is the first ever episode. We'll be back next week with another different comedian. Please keep supporting the show. Like it, subscribe, share it with people, leave reviews online, whatever floats your boat, really. But for me and for Robin and from the Monkey Barrel Comedy Chat Show, that's all for us. Enjoy the rest of your week.